Storm Debbie is hitting some parts of the UK with very strong winds and some heavy rain as well. An amber warning in place across parts of northwest England, but other warnings are also in place for wind and rain. There's a swirl of cloud out in the Atlantic, but the storm system is actually here. This mass of cloud that came in across parts of the Republic of Ireland.
Good morning and welcome back to the diary, and thank you for joining me. Another social piking session this time with the boys from Southeast Northumberland Pike Anglers Club, and we're following in the footsteps of a much better known Jolly Boys outing.
Right, come on in Denzel, full ahead both, we're off to Margate.
Only we're not going to Margate, we're going to the Lake District. 3 or 4 days fishing, as I say, with the guys from St. Pack. And if I'm being completely honest, the Lake District is far from my favourite area for pike fishing. I used to fish it quite a lot years and years ago, and in those days it was always Windermere, and it was always from my boat. My boat launching days are behind me now, and the problem with the Lake District is access, or rather the lack of access. There are way too many regulations, obstructions and difficulties in getting access to the waters to fish from the bank. So as I say, it's far from my favourite. Normally on these Jolly Boys trips we go north to Scotland somewhere, and at this time, as I say, it's the Lake District, and we'll just have to see how we get on. Today, well, I'm hoping to meet up with my fishing buddy Dave, and we're going to give one of the bigger lakes a go, and then tomorrow it's the next round, second round of our this season's pike fishing competition, and hopefully the whole lot of us will get together in the same spot and have a bit of a social, as well as hopefully catch a few pike. Remains to be seen. I'll be back when I get where I'm going. See you soon. Well, that's us sorted. A couple of rods in, and we're fishing. Managed to find pal David, and we managed to find the spot we thought we were going to fish this morning, and unfortunately it was flooded. They've obviously, like a lot of the areas in the country recently, had a lot of water over here, and the spot we were hoping to get onto, as I say, was under about what looked like 6 feet of water. So we've had to find somewhere else. And that, combined with what felt like a long drive this morning, a lot of water on the roads this morning over here, means it's been a very late start. I guess we've got about four hours of that, sort of around about that, before we have to up sticks and go and try and find the accommodation that we're using for the next few days. So whether we're in a good spot or not a clue. I have had the fish finder out and had a quick look, and I can easily reach 15 feet of water without a big chuck. So I've got one as far as it'll go, and I've got one just on the edge of the drop into 15 feet. So we'll see what happens. As I say, I've got no clue whether this is a decent spot or not. Time will tell. I'll be back if anything happens.
Maybe a big one just sat there.
It's getting excited there. False alarm, I'm afraid. That was the sardine rod. I don't know whether I said earlier, sardine on one, mackerel on the other, both popped up in about 15 feet of water. But as I say, I mean, it wasn't, the breeze had dropped, so I'm not sure why the clip came out of the clip, unless it was a line bite of some sort. But as I say, false alarm. Well, we're into the last half hour of this first session, short session, and it looks almost certain that we're going to blank, I think. It's no signs of life at all. David around the corners had no signs, and apart from one false alarm here, that's it. I have to say, if I'm honest, my confidence levels before we started here were pretty low. Those of you that follow the channel will have heard me say previously that you've got to fish to a feature or something on these big lakes or big locks or whatever they are. You can't just rock up and expect to land on a fish, some fish. And it did feel, this morning anyway, when we got here, it did feel as though we were fishing a bit blind, to be honest. But hey ho, if you got a bait in the water, you never know what might happen. But as I say, about half an hour and we're going to have to go and find the accommodation that we're stopping in. Well, that was kind of surprising. I'll tell you about it later. Good morning. Day 2, competition day. A lovely day, lovely morning. The same lake, also have it, a different spot. And as you may have already seen and worked out for yourselves, this is quite a remarkable swim. In fact, chatting to my colleagues who are spread out round this point, probably the most remarkable swim we've ever fished. A gentle lob, and I have to say there is a feeder stream comes out just along here, but a gentle lob and you've got 38 feet of water. At a full cast, and the last rod you saw me chuck in there took 27 seconds to hit the bottom. Now, whether that's too deep, I don't know, but it's got to be worth a try, at least for a couple of hours. Generally, they're fishing in 15 to 20 feet of water, so can't argue about the depths. As I say, whether they're too deep, we'll just have to wait and see. But we're all here. I think there's currently 7 of us. We're being joined a little later by another one of the lads. 8 of us fishing, and as I say, at the moment it's a wonderful morning in the Lake District. Back if anything happens. Well, that's 3 hours and no action or interest reported by any of the guys so far, which a little disappointing. Yesterday you'll have heard me moaning on about the need to find a feature on these big sheets of water, to find a feature to fish to. Well, we've now all, the 5 of us that are spread out around this point, have had the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the water that's in front of us. And we've all got significant changes of depth, drop-offs to fish to. In my case, the right hand rod is on the edge of a step that goes down from 4 feet to 14 feet. The left hand rod is even deeper than that. It's probably getting on towards 16, 20 feet deep, which I think is probably the stream bed, the feeder stream that comes in down the side of me here, and I'm suspecting I'm in the stream bed. And we've all got extreme depths of water to try and exploit if we choose to. And you've already seen my middle rod is in something like 27 seconds of depth, whatever that is. I don't know, but it's significant. So no complaints, not able to complain about a lack of features here. The only thing we haven't got so far is a pike. So fingers crossed, plenty of time left yet. But as I say, that's 3 hours gone and nobody's reporting any interest at all. We wouldn't enjoy it if it was easy. Well, we're into the last hour. And I think it's fair to say there's a degree of despondency crept into the team over the last few hours. There's 8 of us fishing. We've worked out probably something like 20 rods, 20 baits in the water, and not a touch, not a show of interest of any sort, which, I don't know, is obviously disappointing, slightly frustrating, but what can you do? Needless to say, the tactics have been analysed to death. The excuses are being well practiced, but unless something changes very rapidly in the next hour, I suspect alcohol will have to be taken this evening. Hey ho. Well, all day it's taken, and the only one to get a fish was this gentleman here, David, another one of the Daves from Pike. Lovely fish that, mate. Well, after all that, perhaps we're not all completely inept. Good old David saved the day. Lovely fish, chunky little fish. So they are, there are pike in there. May only be one of them, but they're there. So yeah, drinks are on him tonight.
It's a deep one as well. Kind of green though. There was something there.
Well, it sounded like there was definitely something there.
A little bit and a few.
I'm grasping at straws here, but sometimes a sign of a good fish, that.
Just like another little indication that there's something on the end. I can't feel the thing in the braid.
No.
Unless it was a line bait. Oh, oh, hold on, there we go.
Looked more a line bait, didn't it?
Yeah, there it is.
No? I was going to swear then, but I better not. Just about sums up the day, that. Yeah, that's almost certainly an eel. Eel bite.
Technical suit.
We were getting all excited, and it was a blooming eel.
Okay. I was just saying to you, wasn't it? It's never over till a fat lady sings.
Well, that's it. The end of a competition day. Only one very happy angler today. And the rest of us, well, we're happy for him. Seriously.
Just a jump, mate, and it's nothing big. Didn't take long.
Well, we've only been fishing 10 minutes, so compared to yesterday, that's a massive improvement. Well, that was a good start. Day 3, different lake. And as I say, compared to yesterday's endurance test, Dave's only been fishing 10 minutes and got his first saver, as he said, blank saver for 3 days. So yeah, new lake, bit cramped to be honest. This isn't exactly where I'd hoped to be able to fish, but the water level's up, and the areas where I thought you'd be able to get in are basically underwater. So, as I say, a bit cramped. We're having to fish sort of 50 yards apart, and I've only got room for 2 rods. But hey ho, we're fishing, and if Dave's start is anything to go by, fingers crossed, we may have some fish to show you. Oh, and I should say, it's just Dave and I fishing together today. There was a great deal of discussion about where to go today, last night, back at the accommodation. As you can imagine, after struggling as bad as we did yesterday, everybody had their own ideas as to where they wanted to go. So we're spread out all over the place in the lakes today. And in fact, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure where everybody is. Some of them, bless them, have gone back in the hope of repeating the other day's success last night, and others have gone elsewhere. But as I say, I'm not entirely sure where everybody is. Only find that out when I get back to the accommodation tonight. So, as I say, just Dave and I today, but at least we've already had a fish to show you. No, nothing. No, nobody. Oh, God. All right, Mike. Right, yeah. I'll be in touch if I've got any news. Yeah. Well, that's us halfway through the day, and with the significant exception of Dave's early fish, nobody has had anything at all. Had a quick ring round and spoke to everybody. Nothing. Which, to be honest, is becoming a bit wearing. It's been tough, and I don't really know, I can't really pin down why that should be the case. There are times when you just have to admit defeat and just accept that it's not going to happen. And I'm getting very close to that point. now. I'm going to give it another hour, but I suspect the next time you see me, I'll be in the van. Well, as you can no doubt hear, Storm Debbie's arrived. That was the Jolly Boys for March, going out with a bang. Disappointing, I think, sums that up. I think it was generally agreed amongst the lads that's the worst catch return we've ever had on a Jolly Boys outing. It was, frankly, as I say, disappointing. You may recall that when I spoke to you on the way, when I was on the way here, I said that the Lake District was far from my favourite area to pike fish. Well, the last 3 days have just reinforced that opinion, and when it gets round to talking about the next Jolly Boys, which hopefully will be in March, the one thing I think we can all be absolutely certain of is we won't be coming back to the Lake District. Excuse me. So, despite the lack of fish, I hope you enjoyed that. The crack was as good as ever, obviously. What's next? I don't know. I would love to get back on the rivers, but in these sort of conditions that might be a lost cause, I suspect. Anyway, wherever I'm at, I hope you've enjoyed me. Thanks for watching, and see you soon. Bye for now.